Good afternoon, everyone. I am Danny Rose, the Bougie Baker. I want to welcome you to my channel. And being new to this platform, I am going to try to introduce you to many different things in my life, not only in my baking world, but also in my cooking world. So right now what we're going to do is this. We're going to do something very simple, what is called Bacalaitos in Spanish, but in English it's called Cod Fritters. Cod fritters are basically made, again, look, with cod. That's where your startup is, and all these wonderful ingredients that's going to actually be part of this great recipe. So I want you to stick around, hang out with me. Let's take care of this stuff. And what we're going to first do is get all the salt out of this cod. Let's start that process real quick, and then we're going to continue on and have a great afternoon for us making cod fritters, aka Bacalaitos, Danny Rose style. All right, so as you guys can see, we have the bacalao is sitting in water. I went ahead and cleaned it many times. Key is to get all the salt out of this bacalao. I put it in nice warm to hot water from the faucet. Just let it sit. A lot of people do boil it. I do not. It's a reason why I don't do it, and that's the way my mama taught me. And basically it's because why boil it when you're gonna go ahead and fry it anyways? You're cooking it twice. So anyways, enough said. So as I went ahead and strained it, I normally take my bacalao here and I'll start to shred it. So I do have my helper today. So my helper will start to shred it for me as I start to cut, as I start to dice our ingredients, because we're going to get ready to put everything together. So we went ahead and shredded the bacalao. The codfish is all shredded, as you can see. I have all my ingredients here. So now we're gonna start to incorporate, and we're gonna go ahead and start making our mix, AKA masa. So we're gonna start off with the flour. And the flour mix here, you're gonna dump it in. And from there, get our little whisk. And then we're going to go ahead and start adding some water. A lot of people like it thin. Some like it semi-thick. I think it's just your preference on how you want your fritter to come out. You know, if you want your fritter thick, then add less water. If you want your fritter thin, add more water. So I'm just going to start mixing first I'm just going to start first mixing the flour and getting this going first before we start to incorporate. I hate to incorporate when we still have flour mix here, because then it just becomes an issue. And as you can see, it's starting to really get heavy, so I want to add more water to it. Here at our house, my wife's family loves it thin, so they like them really thin and crunchy. But my wife loves them thicker because, I don't know, she likes it that way. She likes to have more masa. So I always make them both. I make them both just to make everybody happy and content. So as I start to mix this, as you can see, we're getting a good, you know, it's starting to really get in there. It's starting to feel really good. It's really thinned out quite well. And then I'm going to go ahead and start to add our ingredients to this. So I'll post everything at the end of the video. I'll let you know exactly. So we're gonna everything that I went ahead and diced. So that's our peppers, and I also added some sofrito, and we went ahead and we're gonna add that. I want to have our pepper, of course. Now we took all the salt out, so we're going to add salt. So it's not as salty, but it does have a good salt flavor. So I do have some salt here, and I do put sazon because I like to have color. Garlic. I use granulated garlic. And then we start to mix it again. And as you're mixing in the bowl, you're going to notice the color is changing, which that is your sazon that's giving it a different color. Now everything is starting to incorporate. All the flavors are starting to get in, which is a good thing. And then, you know, you can fine tune it because again, you're the one that runs your kitchen. In Spanish, tú manda en tu cocina. And you go ahead and whatever you want to put into it, you know, that's, you know, your rules and how you desire, whatever you desire. Now from there, I go ahead and start adding all of our bacalao, codfish. We're gonna add the codfish in. And make sure when you buy your codfish, it's already deboned. You do not want to have bones. Those hurt, especially when you bite into them. You don't want to choke on anything like that, so make sure they're already deboned. And so once I do that, I go ahead and incorporate all the mix and get everything going. And then we just make sure that everything is good. So right now it's kind of thick. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna thin this out a little bit because it is quite thick. But again, it's very chunky because I believe in always giving everybody the most bacalao, most codfish inside their bacalaito, because a lot of people love the codfish fritters full of actual codfish and not just flavor. And that's unfortunate. That's that's what you get in a lot of restaurants. A lot of restaurants you get tons of flavor because they just rather just use flavoring than actual codfish. Is it expensive? Yeah, depends on where you go. Right now, codfish for the packs of codfish, they're running just about $6. Again, depending on where you live. And here in Florida, it's about right now I believe I paid $6.50 for the pack of codfish, which gives me 4 fillets. So I think it just depends on where you live. So once you finish, it's all incorporated and it's actually getting ready. You know, you can taste it if you want and see if the flavor's good. Can my assistant please? Let me get you a tasting spoon. Don't go anywhere. I have my assistant taste it for me, and if she gives me a thumbs up, then we'll continue to fry these. Okay, so I got the thumbs up. She's very silent today. So I went ahead and got the thumbs up, so that means these are ready to get fried. And so bear with me as we fry these up, and we'll show you what it looks like after it's all done. Now we go ahead and got the masa. We got everything all set up. Now we already got the oil nice and warm, or nice and hot, rephrase, sorry. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and get the bowl together. I have my ladle. And then we're just gonna go ahead and start making a couple fritters here and there and see how well they come out, okay? So bear with me as we do this together. So these are definitely gonna be a little on the thicker side because again, my wife likes them thick. And so as we're doing this, I am waiting. I'm gonna add one more in here. And just to let you know, I'm with the ratio of everything that we added, all the ingredients that we put in today, you should be able to successfully make at minimum, I have to say minimum because that's probably what it is. At minimum, you probably make about 24 of these fritters about the same size that I'm making them right now. At max, you're probably gonna get around 36 to about 40, depending on how you do them. If you make them smaller, because some people like small little, like the medallion size, kind of like the little circle ones, they like doing them that way. I've done those that way as well. You can get a ton done out of this. Once you're done, if you're not making them all in one night, you can always just cover it up. It's still good. It's good up to 4 days in the refrigerator. I don't recommend any longer than 4 days in the refrigerator. After that, if you're not going to use it, just toss it in the trash. And then just think about doing something next time. So as they're cooking, you want to just make sure you lift it a little bit. You see how they're just moving very freely. And that's what you want because they're going to start to hover. And as they're hovering, that's a really good thing because the lighter that they become, you already know that they're pretty much going to be almost ready as they're floating on top of the grease. And so what I do is I turn it. I turn the first one on, And then I'll turn the second one. Not a lot of oil. It's really not necessary. You just need just enough there for them to get covered and for them to go ahead and get cooked out. You don't want to overdo the oil. You don't want to put in, you know, too much. I normally put in about a cup of oil is plain. 1 cup of oil is tremendously enough for this what we're doing today. So you give it about a couple of, you give it a couple of turns. As it starts to cook, you're going to start noticing, you know, it's definitely starting to hover more. And you're going to notice that the edges, and it's going to start feeling very, very hard to the touch, which is getting crispier, which is good because you're giving it a nice crisp shell, and that's what you want. And if you have any questions, feel free to always just shoot me a message. Feel free to DM me. Feel free to send me anything, you know, pretty much anything you like. I'll answer everyone. I try to make sure that I get to everyone, and I will get to everyone. It might not be the time that you want me to get there, but I promise I'll get to you. You know, I'll make sure that I get to everyone and I answer all your questions. And as we continue doing this, I will continue to, you know, post more and more and bring out some new recipes. My baking is going to be coming up next, so be prepared. We're going to go ahead and do an amazing banana pudding cheesecake, and so get ready for that. We're also going to be putting out a tres leche, so if anybody that knows what tres leches are, we're going to be doing a couple of versions of tres leches. I have my favorites. I have one regular tres leche. I also do an Oreo tres leche. So we're going to have fun making them, and we're going to do all kinds. So right now, as you can see, it's nice and dark. It has definitely darkened, and it looks very good. And they're definitely very crispy right now. So what I do is I try to pierce it here, and not to cause too much of a fuss with the oil. I let it hang for a little bit. I'll put it here. I always put on paper towels to go ahead and suck up that extra oil. So, and there you go. And there you have some beautiful codfish fritters. They're gorgeous, and I know they're going to taste fantastic. They're very hot right now to the touch. I'm sure no one wants to try them out yet. But let them cool for a little bit. As you let them rest, it cools down a little bit, and then they're ready for consumption. And again, I want to thank you guys today. That is my recipe for Bacalaitos, aka Cod Fish Fritters. And again, thank you for following me. Go ahead and hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the follow button. And please subscribe to my channel. And thank you, and take care, and good night.